Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Mike, a physical therapist, and yes, we are here. Well, I'm coming to you live today or tonight here at the beautiful Jackson location here, Jerry Have Physical Therapy. We are here to interview Dr. Edmond Sultan. He's a physical therapist and also a nurse, and he's going to teach us how to transition from being a therapist to an RN now to owning a world renowned review center. Okay, we'll be back in a few seconds.
HelloNote is a truly therapist-friendly practice management solution with integrated EMR that will enhance workflow, efficiency, and patient care. HelloNote reduces error and allows you to spend more time with your patients. It comes integrated with billing. Claims are generated once a note is completed. You can bill with one click and a patient portal, which streamlines the patient intake process. Beautifully engineered and cloud-based for easy accessibility, the software works on all platforms. You can access patient records from anywhere. We also offer 24/7 support. HelloNote is the practice management solution that you're looking for.
Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Mike Chua. We are back. Again, if you're watching live, comment live. Watching the replay, comment replay. Well, anyway, we have a special guest for tonight. Coming to you live here at our clinic. I haven't gone home yet, so I said, let me just do it here at the clinic. Well, we've been so busy. How about you, ladies and gentlemen? If you've been busy, type in busy, but which busy is good, right? Busy is good. Well, anyway, without further ado, let's go ahead and introduce our guest for tonight. Our guest for tonight is Dr. Edmond Sultan. He is a MENSA international member. We're going to ask him what this MENSA means. And he's also a doctor of physical therapy. He graduated at Utica University in New York. And currently, he is the president and the CEO of the Sultan Review Group, the founding member and the corporate secretary of that certain review center, right? He's also a registered physical therapist here at the state of New York. You know, he put down his score here. 92%. Gosh. I'm happy if I just pass, right? And he's also one of the top 9 of the August PT licensure exam. I remember that, in the Philippines, you're either an August taker or some other month that you're supposed to take. And then he's also a registered nurse, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. He graduated cum laude from University or Emilio Aguinaldo College, class 97. He ranked number 3. I was number 1, by the way. Just kidding. He ranked number 3, 10 most outstanding students of Metro Manila. He is the finalist in 10 most outstanding students of the Philippines. Top 10 Samarnons. I don't know what that means. Maybe from Samar. Of 2010. He's actually also an author. A book called Gosh, I'm running out of English. The Integrals and the Fundamentals of Physical Therapy. He's also a former faculty of St. Jude College and Emilio Aguinaldo College. And he's conducted several live reviews here in the United States, traveling all over the world and speaking and sharing his expertise. Without further ado, let's go ahead and bring in Dr. Edmond Sultan. Dr. Edmond.
Hi, Doc Mike. How idol?
How are you?
I would always call
you're
you,
my idol, sir. So.
idol. Yes, pardon my indulgence, but that's usually, many people that I also know, who also know you. Okay, they call you idol here in the Philippines, and actually even my students there. Yeah, and because of you're very you're so inspiring, and you're a mover and shakers, and we would like to be like you
Well,
there.
thank you very much, sir.
So thanks very much for inviting me here. Yeah,
Well, first
and
of all,
it's
thank
yeah,
you for coming over
it's
with your very busy schedule, and thank you too for letting me know that I'm inspiring. But that's the goal. The goal is not just to obviously we want to make money, we want to help people, but we also want to
definitely
inspire, we want to empower, we want to educate people. And this is the
definitely
reason why I also wanted you to come over here because I want you to inspire and empower people. In our group, we're streaming this in the Alternative Careers group and also in our
yeah,
YouTube and our podcast. But
sure.
could you please tell us your story? I know you're a very smart man. I know you're also a part-time model, right?
Yeah, I used to model through TV. Through, well, I used to be a TV commercial model and a print ad model. Okay, actually, it the modeling thing was the one that got me into my college education because
Oh, wow.
yeah, because I wasn't born with a silver spoon in the mouth, and I wasn't served with a silver platter, so I needed
But
that.
you were born with good looks, so
Oh no, I actually didn't know that. My parents never told me about that. And
there
when
you go.
when you enter into PT, your good looks wouldn't really matter if you don't have anything that you can put on the table in from between your ears, right? So there, kahit even if you smile during practicals, okay, but you answer incorrectly, you will still get zero.
That is
Yeah.
so true. That's so true. Well, anyway, could you please tell us again? I mean, I know I've been following you. I remember this when I was graduating PT school. I graduated 1999, and around
Oh,
2000, we wanted to. Around 99, we most of our schoolmates went to Intelli
Intel Kinetic. Yeah.
Intelkinetic. That was
Yeah.
your review center then, there, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
So
It was
so
the
all my schoolmates went there, and everybody was talking about. For those people who are watching, for those people who don't know, everybody was like wanting to go to this review center because they wanted to go because this good looking guy, Edmond Sultan. I said, "Who is this Edmond?" There was no Facebook, there was no Friendster or MySpace that time,
yeah.
and
Mhm.
we didn't know. And then everybody was just watch the TV and wait for this commercial so we could see. And then I'm like, seriously, that guy is teaching? He's so good looking. He's not a physical therapist. He's just a commercial actor or whatever you call that. So
Oh.
yeah. So tell us your story. So from being a PT, then you started your own review center, and then you became a nurse.
Yeah,
What about
yeah.
that?
So I graduated 1997. I took the boards, and with the grace of God, it was a miracle. I landed at top 10. Okay, I was in the lowest, almost number 9 out of the top 10. But during the time, remember, during our time, uh if you take the August boards, it was a different thing, right?
I
Okay.
remember
And
that. Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
yes, because if you took the August boards, you know these are the fresh graduates, etc., etc. And
I took it in
uh
August, by the way.
and what's I you know I always say this, that aside from hard work and perseverance and grit, okay, we cannot actually set aside that luck really also is for our success. Okay. Yeah. So I have an anti thesis for those who say that luck, okay, it's not that important. But I think it's really important. Timing is everything, and timing is everything is equivalent to luck, because when I took the boards, that was batch 1997. That was the first batch with all new examiners, because a year before that, 96, there was a somehow of a fiasco. I think this is a general and common knowledge. Okay, but it was at fault of those who were involved in that fiasco. And so what there was even a Senate hearing, something like that. So
Wow.
what the regulatory body did, which was the Profession Regulatory Commission here in the Philippines, they changed all the examiners the next year. Okay. But prior to that, okay, if there was no change in the examiners, probably I would have not landed in the top 10, because for the past 3 4 years, I was like monitoring the top 10 since I was third year in college until internship. And there's only one school in that top 10. Okay, there. So, oh my God, I really wanted to be part of the top 10, something like that. But with this trend and algorithm, probably I would not. But okay, that thing happened 1996, and then 1997 we all had new examiners. And of course, it was pretty scary also, because we didn't know where the question would come from there. And those times there, to be honest, okay, since they were all new. There were no plagiarism. You cannot see questions that were just copied from state board reviewers in the physical therapy application. So, unlike in the present time, okay, yeah. So, yeah, I was able to land in the top 10, and that was the beginning of it inspired me, okay, to actually continue with what I want, because when I was an intern, even when I was in also belong to, well, I love my batch, okay. I also belong to the batch, okay, in EAC or AYAC, that was very, very competitive, okay. Yes, my batchmates were very, very competitive. In fact,
Mm-hmm.
we in the boards, there was two of us who landed in the top 10. Number one was my classmate. Okay, yeah. I was just number
Wow.
9. Yes. And in the batch, I was also
Do you
just
remember
number
his
2.
name? Is he still
Yeah, yeah,
practicing or?
he was my idol. His name is Richard Narvades. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
he is now in Texas working. Yeah. Now, right after graduation, a lot of my friends already, went to the US. Okay, but me, I did not apply for to work for the states. I worked in a school, St. Jude College. I started from the very bottom. Okay, part timer just for me to be accepted, because I needed, of course, something for my for my stomach. Okay, yeah. So from part time, and then I got into full time, and then I started lecturing already like 3 months after the boards. So lecturing in the review center. Okay, yeah. So in the review center, yeah, I would lecture. That time I would remember 12 hours a day, because I was just very young, 22, 23. So just like you right now, my God, I was like from 8 to 12, I would lecture in one review center, and then I would go to another review center from 1 to 5. I would just eat
Was
my
this
lunch.
your review center already or someone else's review center?
Someone else's, yeah, someone
Wow.
else's. Yeah. So I would just I would transfer to another review center, and then I would just eat my lunch inside the FX. FX, right? Okay, in the bus, or in the yan 5 to 9. I will still have another time. I would just eat my inside again the FX. So yeah, I started then. Then after like
You were
2 to
really
3 years,
hustling then.
I was hustling. I was hustling, and then the good thing about working in St. Jude, okay, was the dean, Dr. Willie Hervasio. He was very, very generous and very, very understanding. That okay, we don't have a clock in of you need to come here at 8, clock in at 5. Yeah, so his rule is, as long as you finish all your lecture hours in a week with your students, you're good to go. So if you're able to do that in 3 days, okay, you're good to go for the next 4 days. Fantastic. So I would have that. So I would work from Monday to Sunday there. Now, after 2 years, I invited three, honestly, of my batchmates. Okay, these batchmates of mine were not no, two of my batchmates. Okay, the other one was the boyfriend of one of them. So we would just get to see each other in the mall, and hi, hello, and then I just said, oh, do you want to put up a review center, because there's a burgeoning number of students, so there's abundance mentality that you can apply here. Okay, yeah. So what I did, okay, for purposes of delicadeza, was for the next 6 months, I inhibited from teaching in any review center. I was focused on just teaching in the undergrad. Yeah, and sharpening my saw, because if you want to be a teacher in the review, because in the review you really have to like make, for example, a one semester topic into just 4 hours or 6 hours. So you have to have this ability or capacity to, make your lecture very concise, okay, but very concise and
Memorable too.
yes, and definitely it has to have um, it has to be finessed, okay, yeah, it has to be finessed with and most importantly, it has to be easily understood by the students there. And the training that I had as a faculty, okay, in St. Jude, was very it helped me a lot because yeah, I was teaching every day, and of course I was teaching the whole topic, so I could easily, compress the entire topic if I'd like to lecture it in the review center. So at year 2000, we established Intel Kinetic. Okay, yes. One of the reasons why it was called Intel Kinetic, because it's the I and then Q at the last, right? Okay, yeah. Intel Kinetic. It's because of I was a member of the I then I was a member of Mensa. Then I just remembered myself hyphen remembered to the just 4 months ago. Yeah, so we called it Intel Kinetic, and then yeah, it was a good thing because um, during the time there was no social media.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, okay, and since there was no social media, people would really go there to inquire. Okay, people would go to the center like 20 people, and then they would inquire, and then you would, entertain them, and you would explain the program, etc. And of course, when you're young, etc. Uh, and when you're young, there you would really explain, and then for some reason, Doc, it wasn't intentional that I wanted to be it I wanted to be original or want to be different, but of course I back in college, if you notice, there was very fast turnover of faculty members, right? So sometimes we were left without teachers, okay, in the you know in the rest of the semester. Let's say
That's true.
you're right.
Everybody was
It was only
leaving, going to the United States.
it was only us, okay, who would teach our classmates. Okay, our batch president would, would assign Edmond, teach this. Okay, you teach this, you teach this, so that of course there will still be some form of learning curve. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and so I was able to do that, and yeah, well, my formula in teaching is authenticity with substance ever since. Okay, yeah. So authenticity with substance. So probably it's one thing that many students, not my looks, okay, because I think whenever I would always say that once I open my mouth, you will be you will be turned off already, because authenticity is like, of course, you're going to break barriers, and you're going to, lessen your mystery and lessen your enigma. Okay, but part of me is, a huge sense of humor. That's also
Mm-hmm.
one thing. Yeah. So during the time, my of course, we were the first. Sultan Review Group was the first review center, okay, owned purely by physical therapists. Okay,
Yeah.
there was a rehab doctor, yes.
There
Okay,
used
so
to be
Intel
rehab
Kinetic,
doctors, right?
yes. Yeah. So that was one thing that I did. Okay, well, nothing against the physiatrists, but of course, I wanted, like, even the mess concepts, the medical conditions. Okay, I wanted it to be more of
Why was it like
focus.
that?
Yes.
Well,
Huh?
why was it like that? Well, I remember our professors were physicians, right?
Right, right, right. Okay, but
So no
oh,
wonder the
oh
physicians owned the review center then. And then we
yes.
still
Okay.
attended, even in our school. I graduated in uh Perlas University of Perpetual, and our review center is inside, the school itself
Mm-hmm.
that time, and it was the rehab doctors who were teaching us. I mean, there were some,
Yeah,
guest
because
speakers. Hmm.
it's in the republic, in the old law of the PT education or PT curriculum, that these subjects should be taught by MD.
Oh.
Okay, yes, like for example, physiology. Okay, it should be taught by MD, but
Mm.
uh, there was a time already that, I like what I said, there were burgeoning number of PTs. It went to a point like, there, like in my school, there were like 3,300 of us when we started in first year. And
Hmm.
then when we got into the proper part, okay, third year, we were trimmed down to less than 500
I
from
remember
3,000.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, but the reason of which was not because of that, because EAC won't do that. Okay, now they did it because they didn't have enough, rooms to accommodate, etc., etc. Because we were already like 100 in a class. Anyway, going back, so I wanted it that, the in the review, the lecturers would be physical therapists, so that I said, okay, why not that we are the ones who would lecture physiology, okay, everything, etc., etc. Okay, and we have, we have books which are authored in the first place by um, uh, rehab doctors like Delisa and Bradon, okay, because Sullivan is authored by a physical
Therapist himself.
therapist.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yes, and MES, the MES part of the boards is just 25%. Okay, APK was the exam here is like made up of three parts: the uh, anatomy, physiology, and kinesiology. The first part, which contributes 30%, and then the medical surgical. Basically, the medical surgical. Well, I know that they collaborate when it comes to giving questions now. Okay, just that's what I know. But of course, the one that should give there should be the medical doctor, and of course the physical therapy applications, which would be given by the PT. So yeah, that's what I did, like that. And number two, what I did, that's why, there was okay, also my breakout period, or number two was, when you're young, there are certain things that when you're young, you'll do things as if you have nothing to lose, right? And that's basically, it's a two-edged sword. But for me, I don't have regrets.
Hmm.
Okay, we do that because you only win or you learn, right?
That's true.
Okay. Yes, and you can always commit, and it's always nice to embrace vulnerability. Okay, when you're in the position of being vulnerable and then you're not being accepted, even if, well, there was already cancel culture. Okay, even 300 centuries ago, 300 centuries, 3 centuries ago, there was already a cancel culture. So, inano lang yan, it was just, beautified or made more palatable. But it's the same as scrub mentality. Yeah. So, whenever I would lecture, for me to be able to be different from so that the students would go to my center, I would only use pentel pen, and I would tell them that, okay, here in SRG, we don't use because that time the students were used to PowerPoint presentations, right? Okay, yeah. So I said, don't we use pentel pen, PowerPoint presentations. Let's veer away, okay, from PowerPoint presentations, because it will only enable the lecturer, okay, the other lecturer especially, just to read what is being in the PowerPoint, and the students, of
Funny you
course.
mentioned that. That's what I do here at the clinic. A lot of people will say, "Why don't you buy your own, the skeletals thing and everything?" And at the back of the intake form, we have the intake form where the patient would fill out their stuff, and at the back
Mhm.
of that, I would draw whatever. I have
And
this.
that's what they like, right?
Yeah, I would
Yeah, they
literally
want it.
draw
Oh,
stuff.
fantastic. Yeah,
Hmm.
that's also what I do. They the students want that they are in sync with the teacher, or the mentor while they are learning. Okay, they don't like to be like, of course, so there's always like that dopamine thing happening when you're teaching, right? Like, for example, you're drawing, and then okay, they are waiting for the next drawing that you would say, or you are saying something, and then they're excited to answer what the next word will be, instead of like looking at the PowerPoint and there's already the answer there. So yeah, so it it it's for me, the scientific explanation of that is it's just like any form of reward effect, the effect of dopamine, and of course psychosomatically, it makes them rejuvenated, it loses all the pains, and they would never realize they would not realize the time. And of course, if that happens every day, okay, and they would get addicted to you, okay, there. So that's the second thing. But the third one is, of course, it's a review. Okay, yeah. So like what I said, you can't like students are very shrewd. Okay, when you discuss to them things and you just copied it and memorized it from a book, right? Okay, so you have to have a way that you have to have a way uh, to make them feel that they're going to the center is worth their while. So I would give them, well, modest aside, I was like being called the king of plan Bs, the king of making things easily understood. Okay, they just follow this Sultan technique. Don't like the visual pathway. Don't do that anymore. Don't memorize, because I don't like actually memorization, because of course we all know that according to the Bloom's taxonomy, memorization is the lowest form of cognition. Okay, and so that's not. But the bad thing about it, the repercussion was like this. So this is the deal breaker here, so that our conversation would be a little juicy. So once the students would go back to their school and they're already passers, they would tell their teachers, oh, there's this lecturer in Intel Kinetic or Sultan Review Group who's like this. He only uses pentel pen, something like that. And of course, you know what happens, which is beyond my control. Okay, some faculty members and the dean would get mad, and then they would say, "Oh, but I always would tell the students that you have before you're able to be here. Okay, you're able to. I mean, before you're able to do good here, you should have a good foundation. You have to thank your faculty members. I always say that because I was a faculty member, okay, for 7 years, okay, before I finally, decided to focus on SRG. Okay, now let's proceed to your question, like how I transitioned into nursing. I think this is one thing that is, very crucial as an alternative health career show. It's actually, before I proceed with that, okay, it's one of the reasons why I said yes, actually, is because I myself in the present time, I also am curious about what other side hustles I can do, even if I'm about to retire already, etc. Because everybody can do a lot of things today with so many platforms, and that's the reason why you are my idol. Because I'm not that techy. I'm not that. I have an imposter anxiety syndrome still. Okay, I'm afraid to. I have this anxiety when I face the camera. Yeah, I can only speak when I am already all right. Now the reason around 2006, 2007, um, in nursing, there was again a fiasco, if you recall. Okay, there was a
I
something
remember
like uh, of course
2006. I wasn't even
it's
born yet. That just kidding.
2007. Well, this is in the books, and this is like so I would not be what do you call this, charged with slander here.
Slender or
Okay.
something, right?
Yeah, so in 2007, there was a fiasco or scandal again in the nursing. There was a leakage, okay, by a certain review center. In fact, the pastors of that it was like saddening, because but it was a very bold move by the board of nursing, because all passers of that year, they were asked to retake. Can you believe it? You
Wow.
already saw
Seriously?
your name in the newspaper, and then all of a sudden, after the after the trial, okay, the
They
PRC,
had to retake
yeah, we
everything?
have to retake, because the the leakage was, the scandal was legit.
Hmm.
Okay, and before the scandal, there was a monopoly of students going to that single review center in nursing, all because of that, yeah.
Yeah, because
Of
everybody
course, come
probably
on.
goes there for
Yeah,
that.
I mean, even if I were the student at the time, I will definitely go to that center, because I would just cut corners. I will not study anymore. I will not sleep at night, right? I mean, I would rather always sleep at night. I would not, uh, um, uh, uh, what do you call that? Anyway, I got tongue tied. So 2007, okay, some review centers were able to take a piece of cake. Okay, they opened because the review center, of course, they were put in bad light. Okay, legit. Okay, yeah. So the good thing about this is, and I wasn't, I was not, uh, uh, I was not in the position to join, the 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 establishment of a review center for nursing. Okay, well, again, it's due to luck. Okay, one of my friends, not really friend that time, but okay, they just rented one of my rooms in PT for a nursing class. Okay, he like randomly just went to the office for like 15 minutes, and he said, uh, Ed, do you want to put up a review center for nursing? I said,
Hmm.
uh, uh, sure. Who are we gonna be with? Okay, and he said there would be three of us who want to collaborate with you, but we don't have. We are working in a school,
Hmm.
FEU. There are like 1,800 students there.
Wow.
Yes, and there's three of us. The other one is working in another big school. Okay, but we cannot, we cannot leave our work yet, because there's no promise with a startup review center. So
Hmm.
my next question was, why not put up your own? And they said, no, we cannot do that anymore, because, well, they don't have the funds to be able to put up, and they don't
Hmm.
want to, start from scratch. So we just want, to go with you, and of course
Rent the space.
use the, yeah. So
Do you
it was a
own that
blessing.
building yourself now?
No,
No.
no. Most review centers, okay. Most review centers here, we don't own buildings. Okay, yeah, we just rent out.
Hmm.
Because it's seasonal, right?
Yeah.
Unless you have lots of courses that you offer, you
So when
can
you
have
say
your own
seasonal,
review
you
center.
just teach it every like a month before they take the board, or
Usually it's
Mhm.
2 to 3 months. Yeah.
Oh.
So in nursing, okay, they used my name, and then we started with 30 students. Okay, and then after that we got 50, and then all right. Fast forward, I was the president we made a car, we put it into black and white, and I was the president. And this time I was not in the front, line.
Mhm.
I was usually behind the scenes,
Yeah.
as the president. My partners then, they really didn't know much about business, and they just but they were what do you call this, experts, and they were next level when it comes to lecturing. People adore them, and it's a different thing in nursing, honestly, compared to PT. So yeah, I became the president, and I said, okay, if we want to be number one, because that's the goal, to be number one. And that time, it was, my God, everyone, each household, I think, in this country has one person who would take up nursing, because
I
there was
know,
a
right?
very big demand. Yeah. The I would see like 100,000 takers per exam.
Wow.
Yeah, 100,000. Yeah, so I said, if you want to be number one, something like that, I have to change this one. So the good thing about it is they would just believe me. And then you really have to invest in marketing in the Philippines. But during the time, since there was no social media, well, Facebook was there already. I said, okay, let's put a large billboard here, okay, in certain areas
Hmm.
which they think, oh, that's so expensive. Why should we put that there? Because I said, we put a billboard in Trinoma, even if there's no review center in Trinoma, because the time Trinoma Mall was new, and it was the best mall in QC, and QC is the largest city in Metro Manila, and all people would go to Trinoma, and they would see our very big billboard.
Hmm.
And what will happen is they will feel the word aspirational. Such
Hmm.
as, yeah. So I want SRG to be aspirational to students, in the sense that even if they don't know SRG, and they don't need SRG because they have, other review centers, they would feel that I want to be part of this billboard. Okay, yeah. So just like, an iPhone, diba? iPhone naman is the same, whether it is iPhone 10, 11, 12. Okay, Android phones are even better, but we still buy iPhone, the new iPhone, because it's an aspirational product. Just like you're an aspirational. Uh, yeah. So then we became number one. Okay, we became number one. We had like 7,000 to 14,000 students per season, per
Wow.
year. Yeah. So per year. And that was a time that well, as the president, okay, I would do decision making, and yeah, it really helps
So
to
were you
be.
teaching the nursing classes
I
too, or no?
wasn't teaching at first, because I wasn't licensed yet. I
Mm.
was uh, I was still finishing my nursing degree.
So you really
Yeah,
went back to school just for
I
the
went back to
nursing?
school,
Is
yes,
that
to
the
study
4-year
nursing.
degree or a
No,
2-year degree?
okay, that's a good thing.
Mhm.
I think, okay, for those people who want to study nursing, I think the best way is you study here in the Philippines, because it's number one, it's cheaper to study here in the Philippines. Number two, it's faster to study
Really?
here in the Philippines. Yes, like you, Sir Doc Mai, I think you can actually study here even if you are there, because they offer online reviews, or online lectures now, just like Utica
Wow.
University. You can be a BSN graduate, just through online. You don't need to go to school, but
Really?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
So
you can do that. So I only took up nursing for 18 months, because 18 months to 24 months, something like that.
did that
And
work because you had your doctorate degree or your PT
no,
degree
I
or
wasn't a doctor yet that time. It worked because of my they credited my subjects, okay, in PT. So it
mm,
was, yeah.
even
I
though it was
think
10 years ago? I mean, mine
It
was like
was like,
20 years
yeah,
ago.
I graduated 2009.
Hmm.
Yeah. So I think it's pretty much the same
Hmm.
now. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow.
So, but I was with all of us in the class. We were all working. Most of us, many of us were medical doctors. Okay. I was a
You
physical
went back to nursing?
therapist. Some
Medical
were, yeah,
doctors went back to nursing?
yes, in the past, okay, I think now also in the past, they would always say that MD is a pre-nursing course. It was enough. Di ba pag ano, nursing is a pre-med. Now nursing is a, because the deployment from here to the US
That's
is
true.
very
Yeah,
fast.
it was
Yeah,
easier
during the
to
time.
come here
Yeah.
if you're a nurse.
Mhm. So the heydays, okay,
Mhm.
for 5 years, that was from 2008 until 2013 or 14, because the Democrats, Barack Obama, they made a moratorium for nursing immigrants, okay, or nursing who did not, foreign trained nurses, okay. Uh, the moratorium was meant for white Americans or any Americans, no, to they promoted nursing to Americans. So the
Is that the
people,
reason why
yeah,
they
so,
stopped hiring foreign
yeah,
trained
there
therapy?
was stop hiring, and for such
Mm,
reason, but for the 5 months, it was really fantastic. Those were the golden days of
mhm.
nursing, and I am very thankful to God that I was able to take a piece of cake of that, of those, golden years. And number two, because I was also able to, like, compare PT from nursing, okay. And number three, somehow it was very therapeutic for me also, because in nursing, since, well, it's always present, the politics, the propaganda, etc., etc. Okay, I was actually forced to take the boards,
For
because
for
I
the
wasn't
registered
planning
nurse?
for nursing. Because when I graduated, my partners told me, you don't need to take the boards because you're, well, they were like thinking about what, I'm managing the marketing part of SRG. I'm managing, the logistics, the ways and means, the business part of SRG, and all of them. But they said you don't need to take the boards. But uh, our competitors, of course, the major players would always use the card. Oh, why should you enroll with SRG? The owner is not even a nurse. Okay, why
Mhm.
why should you go there? So that was
Prove
always
them wrong, huh?
that was always their card against
Mhm.
SRG. And the thing there was, every campaign, okay, to assert, to, I mean, in every school I would be there, because yeah, my partners say you have to come with us, because uh, you have to use, you have to capitalize, and which is actually very important these days. Okay, for you to be able to have a lot of side hustles, you have to reflect on what you can dispose uh, uh, at your own, arsenal, all arsenal or weaponry that you can dispose. Okay, yeah, just, like me, for example, now, I'll tell you that, like, I do cognitive behavioral therapy, because as not, even if you're not a nurse, even if you're a PT or anyone, you can have yourself certified with that, because mental health issue these days is so. It's, I think, the number one cause, okay, of, the number one thing that people take good care around the world is mental health, right? Even the number one word being searched in the dictionary now is related to psychiatry, which is gaslighting, right? Yeah. So, um, uh huh. So after that, I went back to PT, because you know, I went back to PT. When I went back to PT, however, there are certain things that you have to what do you call this? Accept, right? Okay. Yeah, I entrusted
So how is the
PT.
PT Review Center doing now there in the Philippines?
Uh, my okay. What I, when I went back to PT for 5 years, of course, I was like more focused to nursing. Okay, for obvious reasons. Okay, the grass was greener in nursing, and time is your currency. Yeah, you have to strike when the iron is hot. Okay, and I didn't have regrets of doing it. Yeah, but of course, like if you have 17,000 students for nursing and you have 300 at time in PT, that's also the reason why I went to nursing, because at the time the number of students in PT was dwindling because
Oh,
of Bill Clinton's again moratorium, if you recall, for physical therapists, foreign trained physical therapists. Yeah, so going back, that's why I went to nursing, so that I could,
mm-hmm.
recoup what I could lose in PT when it comes to we're talking about business side, right? Okay, but I would lecture still in PT, but I needed to, because I only have one, one body on earth, katawang lupa. So in Filipino parlance. So after 5 years, I went back to PT. It was difficult to depolarize. Why? Because sadly, okay, I didn't want to say this, but I endorsed I endorsed PT to someone else, okay, to take good care of the SRG PT. But well, it's quite natural that during those 5 years, the face of SRGPT would not be myself anymore. Okay, it would be this person, and this person would also like use that again card that as Edmond Sultan is already nursing, something like that. But the PT world is very small. Um, uh, it was quite difficult really to depolarize. So what I did again is, of course, I have to instead of overthinking I had to rise to the occasion, take action. 2013, I gallivanted first. Okay, so I did a lot of gallivanting 12, 13. So I traveled the world first. Okay, so that I could rejuvenate and reset and think of what I should do. Then by 2014, that was the time I opened SRG online, so that even if we don't have the market anymore for the PT in the locals, okay, because if you offer, I know that you know this, if you reviewed in the NPTE, if you offer face to face in the NPTE, you would only have the 15 in the class, right? And 15 in a class, and you won't it's not gonna generate, it's not gonna put food on your table there. So I opened it uh, online, so that those people from New York, Filipinos, they don't need, because in the past, those who wouldn't pass the NPT, they would come back here,
That's true. That's what I
have a
did.
vacation, right?
Yes,
Okay.
that's what I did.
Oh, they want that. Though I said no, you don't need to go there. Let's do it online, etc., etc.
So
And
did you're
um,
just using Zoom or?
I was using Click Meeting,
Mhm,
there, and of course I changed the program, because of course there's a competition against
mhm,
the review centers in the Philippines, and
mhm,
well, sometimes um, our main market, my main market, uh is the Filipinos. I always, one of the things that I believe in business would be, you have to always walk on your own lane, number two, or you have to narrow your brand. You have to be known for this. So I don't mind if there's no Filipino in my class, okay. uh, as long as I reach my goals or target, as long as, yeah. Number two, I want that this time I want that SRG. Uh, I would be the torch bearer. Okay, I would be, I mean, SRG. Okay, would be the torch bearer to represent the Philippines to the world of you know, NPTE and other NPT preparation and other exam preparation in other countries there, because as you know, the Philippines is the only country in Asia that has a national board examination. Okay,
Really?
yes, yes, we
For the physical therapy?
yes, yes, that's
Huh.
why it's already a, like a bragging right
They're like
for
a gold
someone.
standard, huh?
Agreed,
So
because
there's nothing
uh,
in Singapore or in
they have in
Japan
Singapore.
or
Okay, no, no, not in
Thailand?
Japan. They have a
No?
Singapore. They call it, but the in Singapore it's a different thing. Okay, in Singapore they have what they call the qualifying exam. If you want
Mhm.
to work there as a PT, however, it's a different thing. They call it Singaporean qualifying exam, and there will only be 25 takers per exam, and only one will pass or two will pass in that exam. That
Seriously?
difficult. Yeah, because one of my faculty or lecturers took that exam, and she was the only one who passed in that exam. That's
How
why she
come? I mean,
became the
and
chief
then
PT.
there's not a lot
Yeah,
of therapists there, or
no, the exam was really stringent and very difficult to pass. But in
Mhm.
Southeast Asia, you know, the one that has major preparation, 600 items. Okay,
That's
it's only
us,
the
right?
Philippines. Yeah, the other countries, India, they don't have that. So,
India?
and
You'd
yeah,
think, right?
yeah, they are called doctors, but they are not licensed in their countries. Okay, they have to go to another country, like to take the NPTE. Yeah, so
Hmm.
I'm proud to say that you know, the Philippines, when it comes to
Mhm.
test preparation, we are already the veterans. We are already, you know, the experience. Okay, yeah, because we have board exam since 1976 there. So but you know, the thing there is uh, what is the advantage of that to of course, if the teacher or the instructor, the, you know, the lecturer has taken a lot of exams. Okay, it also matters, right?
Mhm.
Okay, because that means that this person is good in passing standardized tests, because these exams are standardized. That's one thing that people should know, honestly, that, you know, it doesn't mean that you fail it once you're not good. It's because you're not just really used to passing standardized tests. Okay, there. That's one thing. So, having said that, for the time being, that's actually now nursing is coming back, right? Okay, yeah. In fact, the board exam just finished last week. The results just came out. Well, the
Yeah, I
number of
saw that. Yeah.
takers again uh, increasing 24,000, but the passers were the highest in the history. 28%. No, 28,000 out of 24,000. It was the highest. Yeah,
Wow. Wow.
probably the
Well,
demand is really high
mhm.
there. Now, maybe you would like to ask if, like, since it's alternative, okay, yeah, if if people, actually, that's one thing that's actually one of my plans. If you, yeah, I'm just being
Mhm.
honest. One of my plans is, it's either I would take the NCLEX.
Here?
Yes,
Uh-huh.
here,
Oh,
you
there?
can take
So you can take it
NCLEX.
there too? Oh gosh. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, NCLEX, so that I could, you know,
Teach the
teach
US.
NCLEX, but that's not anymore my, you know, time is, you know, teaching is always,
Mhm.
it takes time, right?
But you
Yeah,
can always
so
teach, right? I mean, you don't have to
yeah,
be a
I can
licensed.
and I can
Mhm.
teach when I go there,
Hmm.
right? I can teach both PT and nursing. Okay, yeah.
Wow.
So
Well,
not
tell us
only that,
about the other countries that you are teaching. I know I saw you're teaching people to pass the Canadian board exam, the Australian board exam.
the Middle
What else are
Eastern
you teaching?
exams,
Middle East?
yes,
Wow.
all PT exams around the world, we can actually teach
Wow.
here in SRG.
So not just
Yes,
the Philippines, you're teaching the US board exam,
yes,
and then you're
even the
teaching
UK.
the Australian board exam,
Yes,
and then the
uh,
Canadian and the Middle East.
yes, and the UK.
The
Yeah,
UK? Oh gosh.
yeah, yeah.
Oh
Because
man. I want to you're such a one
um,
smart dude.
not you can do. It's just like you can just uh the range of motion of external rotation in the
It's all the
shoulder.
same, I guess, right?
Yeah,
So mhm,
whether you're in any country, gait
mhm.
cycle is the same in
Wow.
among.
But
It's
still
just
it's
same. You
very
just have to
impressive.
study the structure of the
Mhm,
examination, how the standardized test is being given. Yes, that's the
mhm.
only thing that you have to adjust to or adjust with, because you have to be in sync with how, let's say, the Canadian exam is being given, the structure, etc., etc. Okay, there, uh, um, yeah, there. So I suggest a lot of people want to like physical therapists. I know a lot of licensed PTs here. Oh, well, there I do not know, but well, if they want to change or to shift to other like the physical therapist assistants, let's say, yeah,
You're
they can actually,
are you also teaching PT assistant
yeah,
classes?
yeah. We so the PT assistants, they can actually take up nursing here and
Really?
the NCLEX, and then they work as registered nursing nurses. However, well, not however. Let's go to the positives of being a nurse in the hospital. You know, I do not know the career growth when you are working as a PT in a clinic or hospital. Okay, so probably from a novice or a startup, a starting rather physical therapist. You can be a rehab director or owner. But in nursing, the career growth, the mileage is quite kilometric. Yes. Uh-huh. You
Mhm.
can be the first registered nurse, you can be nurse practitioner, nurse
Yeah,
manager,
that's true.
etc.
That's
And
why a lot of
they're
people
earning like,
here
yeah,
they want to
maybe,
switch to nursing.
yeah, but you really have to go through the needle's eye first, which is the first part, because PT is less tedious when it comes to work, okay,
Mm,
and nursing is really more taxing physically, mentally, emotionally when it comes to work.
yeah,
Yeah,
true.
but for me, when I was doing duty in nursing, it was more fulfilling for me because
So did
you
you also
know
did a nursing duty?
yeah, you cannot you would have duties just like
Yeah, like an
internship.
internship. You did
Yeah,
that too, huh?
so
Oh
so if
wow.
you're a nurse, you're more on the secondary prevention of healthcare delivery
Hmm.
system, right? You are in touch with patient in the acute stage, and of course in the disease treatment, whereas a PT, you are in the tertiary part, okay,
Hmm.
rehabilitative and restorative. But you another thing about like I know a PT in the US, honestly, who does two things. He's a nurse and a PT.
Yeah,
So
there are
instead
several of
of
that here.
her, yeah, she would do a PRN sometimes. Okay, PRN. She would not do PRN. She would do things as a nurse during her PTOs. Okay, etc. etc. And uh yeah, she's actually earning like $250,000 a year already. She would tell me
Wow. Hmm.
because of her. No? So that's a good alternative for those who are
Hmm.
um yeah. I
All
hope
right.
I'm making sense, sir.
Oh, you did. So good. So good. Well, we got 1 more minute left. Any last parting wisdom for our friends and people who are watching both our YouTube and podcast, sir?
First, uh, of course, you have to keep learning. Okay, yes, you have to keep learning. And number two, keep learning in the sense that, even if you're already like, um, if you think you're already in the sunset of your career or the sunset of studying, no, there are so much to learn. Number two, these days, there's no more shame in doing things that are actually decent. Okay, but you want to earn more money, so try to reflect on what things you can do and do them. Okay, without thinking about other people, because it's the main thing that people are ashamed of. Okay, thinking about other people would think about them. Okay, and number three probably would be yeah, to always be creative. There are so many things to do. Okay, you just look around and there are so many problems to solve, and by solving this problem, you have to let the creative juices out. And yeah, there and there. And of course, lastly, it's good to get a mentor, actually, because during our time back in college we didn't have a mentor, right? Yeah. So, like you, Sir, Dr. Mike, you're actually a mentor to many. Yeah. So that's why God is blessing you a lot. Okay. Yeah.
Amen. Amen. Well, thank you
Amen.
very much, Dr. Ed. I appreciate you for everything that you do and for coming over
Yes,
here
and
and for
may I
teaching
ask
us.
you a question? The Alzheimer's thing here, because my mother, I brought her to the neuropsychiatrist because it seems like my mother is having dementia, and it's a new thing here. It's a burgeoning again thing amongst alam mo naman ng mga, Filipinos love something that's novel,
Hmm.
and novel and words that are good to hear, so they invest into it. So I think that your certification for dementia, for CDP, is going to be we just have to market it well, and
Yeah.
consistent marketing.
Hmm.
Yeah. And I'm going to tell that to all my students.
Well,
um,
thank you very much,
and
sir. Hmm.
just go to Dr. Mike Chua. Yeah.
Well,
And of
appreciate
course,
that.
I will definitely do it.
Well, thank you very much. But before I let you go, my Facebook friends, I just would like to highlight what Dr. Ed said. Number one, keep learning, okay? Don't stop. Whether you're 8 years old or 80 years old, you got to keep learning. When our patient comes in here in our little clinic here, we still teach them. They're still learning. The more you learn and the more you take action, the more you achieve something in life. Next thing that he said, Dr. Ed said, no shame. Stop thinking about other people. Just think about other people if they're paying you, right? If not, if they're not paying you, if they're not even paying you, don't even
I
bother.
learned that from you.
Okay, right? And then the next thing he said, be creative. And I like what he said. There are a lot of problems in the world. You know, i- as we get older, there are a lot of problems that we're encountering. But the more problems that you see and the more solutions that you find, the more problems and the more patience, the more money you'll make. The
Agree.
fear you feel alone is actually a problem thing.
Right.
And the more problems, the more shoulder pain, the more back pain,
Yeah.
the more neck pain that we
Mhm.
see, the more money you make. We're not. It's not all about the money,
Always
but
find problems
there
that
you
you
go.
can.
I always like this quote here. In the middle of crisis lies an opportunity.
Yes.
When we had this
Adversity
COVID,
creates opportunity. Yes.
we thought it was like so bad, but now there are so much opportunities. People
A
created
lot.
online classes like Dr. Ed is doing. Uh, you got people doing telehealth now. Before they said, "Oh, you can't do telehealth." Now a lot of I have telehealth. I mean, when I was sick, I just dialed the telehealth, and the doctor called me, and then he sent me prescription over the phone. In the middle of crisis lies an opportunity. And last but not the least, I like what he said: find a mentor, ladies and gentlemen. You need to find a coach that will guide you and mentor you and bring out the best in you. Somebody who's actually going to tell you if it's this right or this is wrong, because you need someone, an accountability partner. Again, thank you very much, my Facebook friends. Thank you very much, Dr. Ed.
Thank you.
Appreciate you for everything that you do.
Thank you
But
so
before I
much.
let you go, always remember the word fast, FAST, letter F. Find people that will bring out the best in you. There's the reason why I reached out to Dr. Ed, because you are the average of the 5 people you hang out with. So who are you hang out with? Are you hanging out with people who are complaining in lives? Guess what? You're going to be ending up complaining too. Hang out with people who are actually winning in life. I mean, look at Dr. Ed. He hanged out with people who wants to be number top 10 in the board exam. Yes, he was number 9, but guess what? The number 1, number 2, number 3, they were like in the top 10. Find people that will bring out the best in you. You don't have to be number 1. Yes, you want to be number 1, but look, he was part of that top 10 in that board exam. Next letter is letter A. You got to learn how to take action. All this stuff that we're doing, it's not going to do me good. It's not even going to do Dr. Ed good if you don't take action. You got to take action. Take action by going to his website, search him up. It's all over the internet. Dr. Edmond Sultan or Sultan Review Group. It's all over. If you need to review for the board exam for United States, the NPTE, Canada, whatever, Australia, Middle East, reach out to him, because imperfect action beats perfect in action. Okay. Next letter is letter S. Share and subscribe. The more shares, the better. We need shares. Share his website, because it may not be applicable to you, but it could be applicable to someone else who needs to take the board exam. And last but not the least, you know what? Is letter T. Is teach it. Why? Because when you hear it, you forget. When you see it, you remember. But when you're actually teaching it, you're actually understanding it more. And the more you teach it, the more you're understanding. And this is what Dr. Ed is doing. He's teaching us how to be better, how to understand our lives from being a PT to RN, and how to start your own review center. Again, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dr. Ed.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
you. Be awesome, be great, be excellent. And of course, I still gotta show this ad. We'll be back Thursday. We'll see you next Thursday, friends.
HelloNote is a truly therapist-friendly practice management solution with integrated EMR that will enhance workflow, efficiency, and patient care. HelloNote reduces error and allows you to spend more time with your patients. It comes integrated with billing. Claims are generated once a note is completed. You can bill with one click and a patient portal, which streamlines the patient intake process. Beautifully engineered and cloud-based for easy accessibility, the software works on all platforms. You can access patient records from anywhere. We also offer 24/7 support. HelloNote is the practice